Welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, JB Owen, and so blessed to have you here. I know that if you're showing up for this show, you're showing up for something exceptional. We're talking about ways to ignite humanity. I'm super happy to bring you some fun, exciting new ideas on how you can ignite humanity, and at the same time, introduce you to some really beautiful, amazing people who are doing something exceptional in their lives to help society, help humanity, help their fellow individual. And so today's show is all about ways that you can awaken your heart, your spirit, your mind into igniting humanity in your life, in your family, in your home, and in your community. I'm so blessed to share that if each and every one of us step forward into ways that we can help others, we can ignite humanity and truly make a difference. Many of us are going through difficulties and challenging times. We're facing things that we've never faced before, ever in history, and we're navigating things in a new way. And that's requiring us to stretch and evolve and do things differently than we've ever done before. And that has inspired me to chat with you about ways that you can ignite humanity, help those around you so that we all can feel blessed, accepted, gracious, wonderful, empowered, inspired, and living in the center of our possibilities throughout our daily lives. It just takes small incremental moves. And we'll talk about those, the little micro moves that you can do to move you into the big direction of where it is you want to go. And this show is all about ways for you to find the support you need and be the support to others. One of the ways that I love to talk about igniting humanity is through heartfelt stories. I call them ignite moments. We all have those ignite moments that inspire us and change us and awaken us into our greater version of ourselves. And since today is Tuesday, we have a theme every day, and today's theme is awaken. So I just said it, awaken you to the greater version of yourself. And what does that mean? Well, many of us have been through trials and tribulations, those tough times that have challenged us and really made us stretch and realize who do we need to become to be a greater version of ourselves. And in doing that, we support people around you. And so Ignite Moments is sort of the precipice of those times, those challenges, those awakenings that allow you to see and go down a different path, allow you to see how you can do life differently. And that in turn helps you be a better version of yourself. And so Ignite Moments is all what we're about. And why? It's because I believe Ignite Moments are going to help heal humanity. When we share our Ignite Moments, our authentic truth, the story behind who we are, why we act the way we do, why we're driven the way we are, why we perform or not perform, is all related to our history, our past, our story. And many of us have used our story to actually be the catalyst and the fuel to push us forward to do things that help others. And in hearing those unique, powerful, heartfelt stories, we actually feel closer to one another. We feel more connected. We actually, our brains start to relate on a new intrinsic level. And that, in my opinion, is one of the things that is truly going to ignite humanity. Not policies, not politics, not more mandates, not more bureaucracy. We truly are going to understand one another more connected and closely by hearing our heartfelt stories. And so I've got some great stories for you today to share and a great guest coming up. But before we get to that, I just will remind you today, Tuesday, is all about awakening. How can we awaken you? How can we awaken the mind, the ideas, the ambition, the actions to do things that are going to make us feel better? And when we feel better about ourselves, we help the people around us feel better, and that ripple effect ignites humanity. We also have 7 principles about igniting humanity, and let me pick one today. Live authentically and with genuine integrity. Yes, 7 different principles. And number 6 is live authentically and with genuine integrity. And so authentically means you doing the things that you love to do, following your dreams, listening to your soul, understanding what's important to you, and utilizing your incredible talents that you were innately born with. And then living authentically is really being your authentic truth, saying your word, following your word, impacting others with your word. Authentically means saying what you truly mean and doing it in a way that it serves you and serves others. And so all about igniting humanity today. Let's get rocking and rolling. Our guest is a beautiful and amazing friend of mine, Miss Barbie Layton. I'm going to read her bio. She is an international Best You Expo speaker. She has a global TV channel and the Best You TV called You Are Amazing. where she interviews world thought leaders and who are she interviews world thought leaders who are changing the world for the positive. She helps CEOs and athletes and individuals reanimate their dreams. We're going to ask her about that, and fall in love with themselves and become the VIP of their own lives with powerful, one of a kind, intuitive coaching, intuitive life coach, energy clearing, and that have manifested miracles in her clients' lives. It's easier for me to just tell you about her than read her bio, but I do want to say that she's all about the kindness revolution. She's a great friend. She's a fantastic speaker. She's a connector. She really does make things happen in the world. She loves people. She's a genuine soul, a good friend of mine, which is all I should really be sharing instead of reading those notes. She's a terrific person, and I'm so blessed to have her here. Welcome to the show, Miss Barbie Layton.
Hi.
Yes, how are you doing?
Great to be here.
Thanks for showing up. We so appreciate having you here. And we're talking about all the ways to awaken individuals to ignite their lives. And you and I were talking earlier about the power of the word awaken. When I say awaken, what does that mean to you?
It means in the sense of where a lot of times people go through their lives in autopilot mode, and that it just becomes a rote thing. And even sometimes when people think about the idea that, you drive to work the same way every day, and some people, they go get their same Starbucks, they get their same old order and things like that. But ultimately, it's really the most important thing in the sense of where you're focusing exclusively on doing that pattern disrupt. It's like, saying, hey, I need to take a side street. I need to choose a different beverage. I need to, maybe do some stretching in the morning. It's like whatever it takes to be able to really, really do a pattern disrupt, to be able to really kick yourself back into the sense of where you're very, very conscious of living your life rather than allowing it just to be on automatic.
Yeah, it's so true. I've heard that little joke where the man goes down the street and falls in the hole, and the rescue workers come and get him and pull him out of the hole. And then the next day he walks down the street, he falls down the hole, and the rescue workers come and save him. And the next day he does the same, and the rescue workers are like, dude, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. I just keep falling down this hole. And the guy's like, why don't you just walk down a different street? And it's so interesting because you're right. We get in these habits. We get in these constructs, we sort of get in a groove, and we don't realize that actually we can awaken to something new. Now, you've had lots of interesting things happen to you. Can you share a time where you felt that you were truly awakened to something that you didn't realize, and that has helped you do what you do today?
I would say that a lot of my awakening in my life has really been about listening to inner guidance. And so it's like, even for, for the amount of success that I've had for the last 3 years, it's been totally from an intuitive place. It's like I just turn my inner critic and my small self off, and I literally just allow that beautiful, deep, booming voice within, that I hear inside of my head that says, gives me these kind of almost like directions. And when you have the opportunity to be able to really, truly follow those and be in surrender, it's almost like your life becomes more magical than you could ever have thought before, because you're not sitting there thinking like, I have free will. I can do whatever I want. And, because before my life wasn't working. So therefore, because it wasn't working, obviously, whatever my choices that I was making, they weren't manifesting what I wanted to manifest. So from that perspective, literally turning that space over, and it doesn't have to be religious. It's just something in the sense of where it's just the opportunity to be able to connect with the divine, to me, is one of the most beautiful things that allows you to express yourself fully and authentically, because I believe that the divine wants to know itself through you.
It's a really good point that you bring up, because you said that before your life wasn't working and then you sort of surrendered. There's probably some people listening right now. They're like, Barbie, how do you make that transition? How do you make that choice? Can you speak to those people who potentially are just sitting there feeling like my life isn't working and I don't know how much more I can surrender?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had 3 near-death experiences. I had a surgery in 2001 of where my intestines were nicked, and I had 85% of the blood of my body. Literally woke up in a pool of blood, which was really a horrific experience. I was in ICU for 5 days and had to have 3 blood transfusions. And then I had another in 2012. My hair turned white because of severe oxidative stress, because I had E. coli, which most people, they die within 60 minutes of having that. So it's like something of where I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and they weren't sure if I was going to make it. I had to have 5 different surgeries on that as well. And I really don't talk about a lot of that kind of stuff, because mostly my message is about positivity, but it's still in the sense of where, when you have a certain level of success, and then people say, oh, well, but they don't understand that it's not an overnight thing. It's a really, really conscious choice to be able to make that decision. And so in 2016, I was diagnosed officially with a chronic illness of where I'm a single person having to take care of my own bills. I had to get up and push myself up, like every morning, even though I was in pain and really should have been able to go on disability. I just said, you know what, I have to find a way to be able to manage this. And so what I did is I really used fashion as my therapy. So I started wearing outrageous outfits on Mondays.
Outrageous.
For real, like I would show up like fully decked out in Gucci on a Tuesday at Costco. But then what I found that was amazing is that if I felt like my energy level was a 2, and then and I know you know this because you and I, we like a lot of the same clothing. It's like basically if I have an outfit that's like a 10 energy, but I'm feeling like a 2, it would get to the point of where I would almost be like a 7 in my energy level, because it was almost like the color and the fashion would actually bring my energy level up. But what I found that was so beautiful about that was the fact that by me showing up like that on a Tuesday at a Costco, people started showing up for me differently too. So it was like I would have so many more people that would approach me and say, can I assist you? Oh, would you like me to show you this? It was like I had a personal shopper at a, warehouse store. And then it's like people would be offering, can I give you an extra glass of champagne? Or it was just like all these beautiful ways in the sense of where I started realizing that I was now almost like being really, really received by the world, as opposed to like, it's very easy to, put on your yoga pants, especially in the pandemic, put on your yoga pants, put your hair in a bun, no makeup, just no effort, like you rolled out of bed and go to the store and feel like crap. And then nobody, pays attention to you. So you feel like crap too. You're not really engaging with anybody. But I think sometimes when you show up in a different light or a different space, or you put the little extra effort for yourself, it's not for the other person, it's for you. Maybe for a woman, it might be just putting on lipstick through that one day. She just feels like putting on lipstick. And then from there, it's just like someone maybe compliments her and says, oh, I really like that lipstick. And then it's that human interaction. It's that connection of where it doesn't have to mean anything, but it's still, the whole world is there to, like, as your oyster that wants to engage with you. But if you're contracted and you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're feeling sad, that basically doesn't allow you then to be received by the world. And so therefore, for me, that was where I shifted a lot of things in that sense of where, I then just said, hey, I can't live my life like this any longer. So let me do something different. And it took maybe 30 extra minutes a day, but the way that I was received by the world became completely different.
I still love that you say that, because I've had people say the same thing, like, why are you dressed like that? You're so dressed up. Like, who are you trying to impress? And I always say, like, me, like, I'm trying to make me feel happy. I'm trying to show value to me. I'm trying to prove to myself that I matter and that I care, and I'm also trying to have some fun. And I think you and I both agree fashion is all about having fun. It's about uplifting ourselves. And I also will share, during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of mentoring with people. And some of the first mentoring I had to do was, let's take off our bathrobe, let's get out of our slippers, and just make ourselves feel better. And so very good advice. I love that you share that. So after you overcame these struggles, and I think a lot of people listening can relate to health concerns and health challenges that really pull you back and pull you down, you started to step into more of yourself, showing up in a new way, and that made people reciprocate and show up differently. Can you share a little bit about some of the things that have then sort of been, we talked about it, those micro movements? A lot of people feel like, I'm good. I showed up one day looking great and nobody noticed, and so I'm going to give up. Can you talk a little bit about consistency and then micro movements, how they benefit and aim to the end goal?
Well, one micro movement that my nephews have always remarked about me is they say, you talk to everybody. So it's like when I'm at a restaurant, it's like, I'll ask the busboy or the waitress, like, how's your night going? And they're like, oh, it's okay. Or, whatever, I'm busy. But what I find is that you get the best service, because then you're having this tete-a-tete, you're having this dance, this interaction for whatever amount of time that you're at the restaurant with this person that is serving you. But you're acknowledging them in the sense of you're not better than them, you're not worse than them. But then when you're at the cash register at the grocery store, hey, how you doing? A lot of times, I remember I was at the Ivy I think in Hollywood, and it's a lot of paparazzi and a lot of cool people go there and that kind of stuff. And there's this whole thing of where when you go to the back and you're waiting for your table, they give you a glass of champagne out of this beautiful, like one of those punch party bowls that's filled with ice, and it's very fancy. But the guy poured me a glass of champagne and my guest, and then I just asked him, I think a few minutes later, I said, "Oh, how's your day going?" And he said, "Oh, it's $25 for a refill." And I said, "I didn't ask for that." I said, "I just wanted to know how your day was going." And he just was kind of like taken aback. I guess in Hollywood, people are too important to ask the guy serving the champagne and how his day is going. But all of a sudden he goes to me, he goes, "Come here." And I'm like, "What?" And he just picks up the champagne bottle and pours me another glass of champagne. And then asks my guests if they want one as well, too. I didn't ask for it, but was still in the sense of where it's like that interaction with other people, it like lights up your life. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can just be saying hi. I mean, I'm in California where a lot of people, you can walk down the hallway with somebody that will literally, you can say hi to them and they will literally, they're too cool for school and they won't even acknowledge you. So I get that. And there are other places where people are more friendly. But by the same token, I'm not going to stop trying to engage. So to me, it's still the sense of where the people, you know, I also think that micro movements are things that you tip well. You make sure that the people that are serving you, that you acknowledge them basically by compensating them. There's just a lot of like little tiny things of where in your own little hometown, you know, thank your postman, thank your, you know, thank the people that are bringing you your food or you know, people that are delivering whatever they're delivering. It's still, you know, my UPS guy in my building, he delivers my FedEx packages and my USPS packages because he just likes to say hi. You know, it's like, I think that's just amazing. And a lot of times they're big, old, you know, big boxes where they're heavy and he doesn't need to take the extra time. But it's like, you know, I know his name. He knows my name. You get to know your neighbors. It's just these little tiny little things. Those are to me the micro movements in the sense of where they really allow you to just engage with your world, because a lot of people, you know, it's the AirPods, the hoodie, people when they have the masks on, and then you have sunglasses on. There are a lot of people who couldn't even see that they were human beings. They just look like robots walking around with like complete. When you're hunkered down and you're all contracted, you can't manifest. You only manifest when you're expanded. That's the most important thing. That's like that's a quantum secret, that the more expanded your energy is, people who manifest, their energy is like 20 to 30 feet out there. I mean, you're a person, when you come into a room, I know you're there. When I come into a room, you know that I'm there. It's like, but it's because of our energy. It's the essence, it's that light. And so for all the people that are listening out there, find a way to shine your light and shine it to people that want your light. There are a lot of people that want it, and you might not think that, but find the people that want it.
Yeah, it's beautiful that you share that, because being authentic is really about reaching out and connecting with people in a way that they might not expect. And you never know. We had a guest on the show earlier this week, and she talked about you never know what that person is going through, and your hello and your interest and you just sharing that tiny little bit might be the one thing that just really saved their life that day, or save their, you know, sort of their mental state. And so what's really great advice: show compassion and interest in all people. I'm the same. I remember I was saying hello to somebody who walked by me one time on the bike path, and my kids are like, "Do you know them?" And I'm like, "No, I just say hello." Like we're super close to each other, walking past each other on the bike path. And they're like, "Wow, Mom, that's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, just say hello to as many people as you can, because it actually cracks open the opportunity for more conversation, which leads to our ignite moments and sharing, which leads to connection and understanding, which really leads to igniting humanity." I truly agree with you. So talk a little bit about the kindness revolution, because I think you're segueing into it by saying, say hello to people, recognize people that serve you, go out of your way a little bit to just give people, you're right, it takes 3 extra seconds to be hello with a smile, how's your day, then just open the door, grab your package and close it. The kindness revolution for you, let's just sort of share with people what that means.
So on my TV show, You're Amazing, I've interviewed the lovely JB as well. I'm just going to be a guest a second time. But it's one of the things I really, really love is the fact that both JB and I are connected with the Mind Valley community, which is international and global. And so for me, having clients that are from all over the world, and also having guests from all over the world, there's a lot of things that we get told by the media and the news as to different cultures and who they are and who they are not and things like that too. But, you know, I have over 30 countries that are represented on my show, like Haiti, and that, you know, showing the beautiful side of Haiti, and my friends from South Africa. And then I have other people that are, you know, from the UK. They're from all over the world. And initially, when I kind of stepped out, you know, professionally doing what I do with one-on-ones, I wasn't sure whether or not I'd be able to do clearings for people that were in Abu Dhabi or a different religion or things like that too. But in Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, everybody needs to be seen and heard and loved and accepted. Those are the 4 things, and they're universal. And finding that out and knowing that the problems that my clients had that were in Saudi Arabia were the same, issues that my clients had in Australia, was one of the most important things to be able to see that, we're all the same. We all bleed red blood. And so from there, having over 30 countries that participated, in 2020, I was very blessed to be nominated for the Tony Hsieh Award. That was the CEO of Zappos. And the people that ended up winning that are billionaires from this company in Egypt that are absolutely amazing human beings. And they are doing these smart cities all over Egypt, and they're serving over 275,000 families in Egypt. And they do their own masonry. They have their own cement, factory. They're just amazing people. And they went from $8 billion to $20 billion during the pandemic. I mean, they literally 10x whatever they were doing. But it was still about the idea that it was the human first and technology second, as opposed to a lot of people are saying technology first and then the human second. So they were really trying to juxtapose this whole concept of you need to have the humanity first. And it was even cool where they have this app of where the people in the communities, they can communicate with each other digitally, but then the computer will cut them off at interaction number 5 and say, okay, go meet in person and have coffee. Go play tennis together. Go do this, go do that. It was really cool. But when I had a conversation with them about Egypt, there were so many things that they dispelled that to me were things that I thought of what I thought about Egypt. And they were telling me all these really cool things that women have been able to drive since the beginning of driver's licenses. And, they're talking about Ramadan and how people were feeding each other and just all this really cool stuff of where I was like, wow. But by having that heart-to-heart conversation of meeting them in person and then having a phone conversation, subsequently, it is that kindness revolution in the sense of where my heart is then open to this new experience with a new person from a culture that I haven't necessarily experienced, and vice versa. And that's the part of where, to me, I feel like it's a really beautiful thing in the sense of where, to me, you have these ignite moments. It's the same thing of having this opportunity to be able to, make it of where you literally allow your heart to be open, and from your heart being open, then the kindness can come through. And then we don't have these negative experiences about people that are things that we're told by other people. And so when you have firsthand knowledge or firsthand account of a human being, it's a completely different experience than what you've read about someone else's third person experience. And one example I want to give you that's actually really funny is, have you ever been to Alaska?
I have.
So have you been to Liarsville?
I haven't not.
So Liarsville is at the bottom of the Golden Staircase, and which is that 2,000, step one that they had to go up with their 2,000 pounds worth of stuff that a lot of people ended up dying on. And Liarsville was the town at the bottom of the Golden Staircase where the gold mine prospectors were going. And they were writing all these newspaper articles, and they were sending them back home to all the, the Seattle newspapers and Washington, D.C. and so on and so forth. But the funny part, the reason why they called it Liarsville, because none of the reporters went up the hill. None of them knew jack diddly squat about what was
the real truth, the authentic truth.
They didn't know anything about it. All they did was interview people that went up and down and different people, and they would hear second or third hand as to what had happened. And so to me, that was just such a perfect example in the sense of where with the kindness revolution, it's you're not getting the actual information. You're only getting, you're just getting filtered through someone else's. And so it's the same thing of where, I got bullied a lot as a child, and very, very horrifically in a lot of places and for many years. But what I always found that was funny was that when people got to know me, they'd be like, wow, you're really nice. Wow, you're really chill. And I'd be like, okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. But they let other people's opinions or their ideas about that other person, tell them who I was or who I was not. And I don't want to have that be told as to who I am and who I'm not. I want to get to know people firsthand myself. And yes, everybody has a reputation and a public persona and things like that too. But I want to know the real person, and I want to get to know that person myself. And unless I have a negative experience with them, et cetera, I'm not going to have that same opinion that somebody else might have. And I'm not going to sway my opinion based on someone else's opinion about somebody else because of an interaction that they had with that person that I didn't have.
It's so true. I went to visit a girlfriend, and I hadn't met her in person, but we talked online and we had trained together, and I ran up and hugged her and gave her a big hug and squealed. And then we were talking and laughing. And eventually I met her husband, and he was like, wow, I thought you were just like that on camera, but you're like that in real life, all full of joy and squeals and laughter and silliness. And I guess that goes right back to rule number 6. And again, it's not a rule, it's a principle, but live authentically, be your authentic self, be your true self, because when you show up your authentic self, people show up as a mirror of you. If you show up resistant, they'll show up resistant. If you're being false, they'll be false. If you're angry, they'll be angry. So really, one of the ways to ignite humanity, and thank you for awakening us to this idea, is to show up your true authentic self, be kind to others, and show up how you want people to mirror you. Well, I thank you so much. Great stories and lots of wonderful information. Folks, if you want to know more about Barbie, you can check out her website. We will put it up on the screen for you to find out a little bit more. Last and final words, my darling.
Go out there and connect with people. Go have the opportunity to shine your light. And if you're feeling bad, just know that there are other people that I feel like my message is for other people, is that if I can do it, so can you. And if I can inspire one person to go out there and be able to shift their opinion about, that today is going to be a better day than they thought it was going to be, then, like I said, go out there and find a way to shine your light.
I so love it. All right. I can't wait for you to shine some light on me and me on you. And I hope to see you soon. Blessings and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as you can see, there are so many different ways that we can all ignite humanity. In fact, we all have the same common denominator. Barbie mentioned it. We want to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to belong. And the ways that we do that is through connection. We truly are creatures of community, and we want to be close to each other. We want to be noticed. If it's how we dress or how we speak or our story, our past, our work, our experience, our efforts, we absolutely want to connect with others. And so think about what you do in your life, how you show up, how you present yourself, and how you want others to perceive you. And think about ways that you can do it more authentically so that you truly feel comfortable in the way you show up with other people in their lives and in yours. Find ways that you can be authentically you. And if that means having more fun with your sports, traveling more, saying more, sharing more, speaking more, showing up more, we would love to hear from you. And that leads me to, if you are igniting humanity and if you would like to be on the show, we would love to hear from you. Please send us an email at ignitehumanity.life/share and reach out to us so that we can find you. We can hear your story and authentically understand the things that you are going through and how you can ignite others. And if you know somebody who's doing the same, please reach out to us. We also want to guide you to our website where we are talking all about the things that we are doing to ignite humanity. We have a book, we have a movie, we have a mission, we have episodes, we have all kinds of things. We're even building schools and creating a legacy library. So please go to ignitehumanity.life and find out all about our initiative. You can always reach out to us, and we are happy to give you more information on how you can make an impact in your life. Just remember that when you ignite yourself, you shine the light and make it possible to ignite others. And when you ignite others, that creates a ripple effect. And that means we truly can, in our lifetime, very quickly ignite humanity. Big blessings to you all. Thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow on the show.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.